The facts are staggering. In the last decade and a half, child pornography production convictions have increased by more than 400%. The Southern District of Texas, from the Brazos Valley southwest to Laredo and Brownsville, tops the list with the most offenders nationwide. The Western District, from Waco to El Paso, trails closely behind. It's a crime made easier by smartphones and the internet. Nearly half of the content comes through social media, instant messengers, online gaming, and live streaming. It's content produced most often by a person the child trusts. Overwhelmingly, they're white men, college-educated, generally with little to no prior criminal history. Like a spider and its prey, catching predators sometimes takes a web. A web spun by federal agents who put themselves in the shoes of a criminal.
I can be anybody that I want to be on the internet in the next 2 minutes and change that identity. And that's one of the things that we combat when we're looking at child exploitation.
The FBI's Child Exploitation Task Force creates advertisements and has conversations to lure those looking for sexual encounters with children. That's how records show they found Edward Green in South Carolina looking to sexually assault a child.
I mean, they're burned into your memory.
In April, charging documents say Green drove 11 hours from North Augusta, South Carolina to Toledo, Ohio. He was hoping to begin a sexual relationship with a 7-year-old. Instead, he wound up behind the walls of an Ohio prison. That web doesn't just catch one creep.
It is not uncommon to have one investigation ongoing and then it turns into another investigation, just because through that process you're going to identify like-minded individuals.
Green wasn't alone on the web. He was talking to other people like him online, sharing information and content.
The use of the internet has increased the ability for predators to exploit children much more widely and much more often.
Messages on Green's phone led investigators to a woman in Pontiac, Michigan, Sarah Chadwick. A criminal complaint says Chadwick and Green spent December 2022 messaging on apps like Wickr, WhatsApp, and Telegram, sharing and talking about child pornography. Chadwick was arrested at her home in Michigan in early November.
It's disgusting, it's heinous.
Court documents say Chadwick had taken and shared photos of a nude 8-year-old. She's also charged with distributing child pornography photos and videos, including what the government called minors engaging in sexual activity, to include infants and toddlers.
There's about 8 billion people in the world, and about 5.5 billion people have access to the internet. So that landscape when it comes to child exploitation has changed because people are able to reach more people without actually being in one physical location.
It only took FBI agents days to weave the next step in their web, which would take them to College Station, Texas. A criminal complaint from the Southern District of Texas says Chadwick spent nearly a year sharing child pornography with Clinton Harnden. They last talked just 2 days before Chadwick was arrested, and Harnden was in the Brazos County Jail by the end of the week.
Investigations at the federal level can take a lot of time. I can tell you that when it comes to ongoing victimization of a child, a subject has possession of a child, access to a child, it is escalated to try to remove that person from victimization as quickly as possible.
The team that worked on this case right in Bryan College Station, they worked their butts off to really push this case forward.
Harnden lived a life that looked normal. He was an active volunteer and worked for the Texas A&M Engineering Experiment Station. But court records now reveal something more sinister was happening.
It's the guy next door. Typically, when a person gets arrested, you have the neighbor and everybody else going, I can't believe it. I've known this guy all my life.
The FBI says he and Chadwick did more than just share photos and videos. Chadwick provided Harnden a guide on how to have sexual intercourse with children as young as 2. Court documents show he and Chadwick would later admit to the FBI agents that Harnden had performed sexual acts near a child and talked about it online.
And it can happen anywhere. It's one of those things that happens in the shadows. An individual spouse, best friend, parents, brother, sister may have no knowledge that this individual is involved